have a stain, do you say, go sit over here in the washing machine or in the basin for a little bit while we try to figure out the source of the stain and whether you were actually the one who poured or not? Now, this is the question that we're asking in public service, that if there is a question, if there is an investigation, should you step aside? But further than that, if you have been impeached, I remember the Chief Justice declaring herself, not just declaring herself, but perhaps declaring what the law said in terms of what should actually happen when somebody has been impeached. And I believe the words that she used, I think we have that clip here, even at Spice. And she said, if you're impeached, you're impeached. That means you cannot go, you cannot touch anything. If you're impeached and you go home. That's essentially what she said. But then the other side, which makes the so clear law maybe not so clear, is that until you have exhausted all avenues of appeal, then you are able to operate within the same space. Which is which? Now, we know that Justice Lynn Gogi has also could have set precedent some years ago when she dealt with the cases of former Governor Ferdinand Waititu, as well as former Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko, whereby in this space where we are operating, where there is work, and that there's question as to your conduct, there's a court case as to the state preferring charges against you of things like corruption and mismanagement of funds, etc., the EACC in tow as well, then remove yourself from that space. I believe the latest happened with Governor of Trans-Nzoia County, George Natembeya, when he was asked to stay away from his office for 60 days while this investigation took place. Surely he was exonerated of those charges later. But the question is, should this be the practice? Should you actually say, okay, first of all, we don't need you in this thing in the moment. That there are questions as to conduct, there are questions as to what may have happened while you were sitting there. And with you there, you pose possible distraction. So because of that, we're going to ask you to sit aside. Could this have been what Lynn Gogi envisioned when she was then interpreting and said that something then needs to be done? Does it make sense when you ask, just cool your heels there for a minute while we figure out what was going on here?
It does make sense, because then if you are at a position of a governor where you're handling resources of a county and there are questions on how you've handled these resources, the most sensible thing for you to do is to stay away from control of these resources as investigations continue. Same would apply within police. You are the one who's giving orders to your juniors. When investigations are there against you, knowing very well that you order your juniors and you are at that high position, the best thing to do, or the most sensible thing to do, is for you to stay away from control and issuing these orders to your juniors so that investigations can again be conducted by the very juniors, but with you outside not giving these orders, right? So it would happen to every other institution, because when there is a speck in your eye, you remove it, you don't look at a log. That's exactly what other courts have pronounced themselves. That in the meantime, as we go through investigations or we prosecute this matter, stay away from that office so that justice can be seen to be delivered. But is that the case? Is that where we find ourselves today?
Well, obviously it's not. And I believe that it was here in this country where somebody said, I would rather die than resign. But what does that say to me is that the threshold for integrity has actually been so lowered that it doesn't really matter. I mean, we have people who've been convicted. Now, hear me out. We had people for whom charges were brought. They went to court. There was a trial. They were convicted and sentenced and fined.
And spent time in jail.
Yes.
We're not talking about remand prison, jail.
No, but still prison.
Yeah.
Still came back, vied, and won.
And were cleared by all the agencies.
Were cleared by the agencies to run in this election.
Why? Because apparently the Constitution allows you room to appeal.
Exhaust all avenues of appeal.
Yes.
Right.
Yet, the courts have pronounced themselves that you are guilty as charged.
So, because the law is very clear.
I have a question. When you appeal, does the judgment get overrode, that one?
Just hold on. Because the law is very clear.
Yeah.
And so the people who can clear up the law...
A lawyer.